Well, just a kind of a hard fought battle there, and guys stepping up. And much like last night, we put ourselves in some unenviable positions on our own doing. But the good part about that is finding a way to get out of those and making the pitches and making the plays we needed to ultimately lead to a win.
Open up the questions using the raised hand function. Start off with Jack.
Hey, Coach, off the bat in the seventh inning, did you think Lampy was going to be able to run that ball down, and how huge was that catch?
Well, that was a game, that took the momentum and a little bit of the wind out of the sail that other dugout, I would have to assume. That was a great play. It was, being all things. I mean, everything contributes, and people don't realize that catch as a result of, the assistant coaches and doing the scouting report and moving guys over, which they had just done. Prior to that, it's the guy executing the pitch, and then ultimately Joe just doing his job, which was making a phenomenal catch. So it's everybody contributing to that play, and that's what this team has shown time and time again, that as long as we have team success, it doesn't matter who gets the credit. But I would certainly say that was one of the, if not the biggest play of the game.
Jeff?
Yeah, just to go on along there a little more, the plays you made, with Pivarov and then bringing Joe in, and then the way it all worked out. I mean, you kind of go into the game knowing you've got those guys on the bench and you have that capability of making those kind of moves later in a game, I'm assuming.
Well, I mean, we talked about it yesterday. Still learning this team and learning the personnel. And, my style is I like to kind of, make that lineup and go with it early. If you're going to make some changes or take some starters out, you just go ahead and take them out, because you never know how that game is going to go. And you go into it with an idea of seeing some people, and next thing you know, it's a tight game, and you haven't learned anything about your team. So we had the plan, the idea that we were going to try some different guys today, certainly positionally, and then have the other guys, excuse me, have the other guys available at the end. And it turned out, exactly how we thought it might. We were hoping to have a lead in the last few innings, and then we were going to make the substitutions to get kind of our regular defense back on the field.
Michael?
Going back to the bottom of the sixth, you guys had first and third there, and Vinny Tossi came in and pitch ran and got thrown out, kind of got caught in that rundown. Did he think that ball was going to go through? What did you see from the dugout? And also, to kind of follow up on that, you've talked about the maturity of the team being really young and so forth. Is that kind of an indication of what we saw in that play?
Well, I blame us, me. We've got to do a better job coaching right there. And he shouldn't have been going. You got Lampy. We need to read that situation better. In other words, they were probably going to let us steal the bag. So, and I don't want to get into specifics of our offense on that, but we probably made the wrong the wrong call. So it's not his fault. That was more our fault.
Jacob?
Tracy, it looked like Eric was really dealing and was kind of on his stuff today. I'm curious, first, what your thoughts were on his performance, and then also about the decision to remove him after 5 innings and just 64 pitches today.
Well, I mean, just getting other guys and just felt the matchups. And, we've had a lot of games at this point where we just haven't, seen a lot of guys. And so Brady Corrigan has done did a really good job the last outing. And Eric was a little fatigued. So we just thought, let's make the move right now. We're early in the season. Let's just go ahead and do it right now so we can see some other guys. But also, with him being fatigued, it was one of those deals where we had the lead. Let's just go ahead and get him out and work some of the guys in the pen.
A couple more questions. Jack?
Have you noticed a sense of urgency within the pitching staff and kind of an understanding that they're going to need to have starts like Eric gave today with the loss of Cooper and Boyd?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about strikes. I mean, it's as we get deeper into this thing, there's going to have to be more guys stepping up and continue. But, I think Jason Kelly does a wonderful job of communicating exactly what he wants, and probably the biggest message of that is if you want to toe the rubber, you got to throw strikes. And, you know, we've kind of not helped ourselves here a little bit, but competition, man, breeds competition. And these guys are all competitive people, and they want to get on the mound. Position players, one that we talked about it earlier on the position player side, guys want to play. So they know they got to bring it every single day in practice to earn the opportunity to be out on the mound. And when you see guys performing over and over again, that also, to me, raises your awareness too, and and hopefully translates into your performance as well. So guys feed off one another, and I think we've done a really good job of that.
Michael?
How big was Christian's performance today after you got just one out from Brock and then Graham didn't get it out at all, and Christian was able to kind of stabilize things towards the end of the game?
Well, it goes back to what I just said, strikes. I mean, it's sometimes in a managerial thing, situation, you just like, hey, you know what? If they're going to beat us, they're going to beat us, but let's make them beat us. And we know that Christian is a strike thrower. He's a competitor. And some of the guys were a little shaky today in their command, and we just felt like a good option. And, with Bob, but he's done that time and time again, kind of our quote unquote insurance policy with strikes.
Last question, Jacob.
With Bod coming in and throwing, I think it was 29 pitches today, is he in the mix to throw again tomorrow? And then have you also thought about who might start and kind of how tomorrow might look?
We're going to talk about that a little bit later, but I would doubt that Bod would be in there tomorrow. But we don't know who we're going to start just yet.